everyone, it's AG, and this is my final video about E3, or my final thoughts. And this summer, I showed you a whole bunch of videos from E3 and what my likes and dislikes of the whole thing were, and I didn't really go into too much depth, but here's going to be my final thoughts about the whole thing. I hope you enjoyed my videos. They were going to be my whole, summer pretty much for you guys, and because I had a whole bunch of things to do this summer, so that was my summer series. I'm going to get back in the swing of things of making videos, so here are my final thoughts about E3 2010. When I first walked into E3, it was totally a dream come true, because as a kid I always wanted to go to this thing ever since reading Electronic Gaming Monthly and seeing pictures of E3 and the Booth Babes and N64 and Sonic and Crash Bandicoot. I have to be at this thing one day, and so being here was amazing. I could just check that off the bucket list, and I hope to return next year, and I'm pretty sure I will. At the Nintendo press conference, I was very surprised. No, I can't say that because I knew a new Zelda would come out, but my initial reaction with Skyward Sword was it was a mixture of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. The animation, When I finally got to play the game on the third day of E3, I realized they really focused on the control scheme. And I like that a lot because you can roll bombs like bowling ball. You can use your sword to trick enemies, and the way you slash the sword is, of course, the way Link does it. You can pick out your things from your pocket or your bag by using the nunchuck. Everything was very interactive, and I like that. It just immersed me in the game. Unfortunately, the demo that I played was very short, but of course, you know me, I'm buying that game as soon as it comes out. Now, other than Zelda, they had a whole bunch of things, focusing on Epic, like Epic Mickey and Kirby's Epic Yarn. And Epic Mickey I got to play, and it reminded me of Mario Sunshine, because Mickey, has a paintbrush, and he's pretty much painting, or using paint thinner to remove paint. So it looks like a solid 3D platformer, and I was really surprised by it, and it was very, very fun, actually. And of course, my first thoughts of Epic Kirby. That's what I was calling it the whole time. Kirby's Epic Yarn. It really reminded me of Yoshi's Story, but it looks like a really solid Kirby game. Although it has to have the cutest, most cutesy graphics I've ever seen in a game that actually look as great as it does. But it's totally a kiddie, approach to the whole thing. And they had Donkey Kong Country Returns and a new GoldenEye remake, and when they started talking about the GoldenEye remake, I was freaking out, because oh my gosh, is Rare going back with Nintendo? And alas, no, it was Activision doing the remake, and it showed when I played the GoldenEye remake on the show floor, and they had the 4-player going on there. They didn't actually have the demo of the main game, but they only had multiplayer. And it did not feel like N64 GoldenEye. I'm just going to say that right now, people. Okay? I have nothing against Activision, but they are no late 90s Rare. Okay? I'm just going to say that right there. Right now. Right now. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed, but in a way, it was kind of expected that if it wasn't Rare doing GoldenEye, it's not going to be the same thing. So, of course, the big thing of the show was Nintendo 3DS, and Nintendo 3DS was definitely impressive. It could take pictures in 3D. You can play 3D games. You can turn the 3D off. It's going to be big. I'm just going to say that right now. And the funny thing is, at the Sony press conference, they kind of mentioned PSP, and the whole thing about PSP at the Sony conference was their advertising campaign, the whole thing with Marcus. And I'm sure you've seen Marcus either on television or here on YouTube or wherever you're watching this from. He's everywhere talking about PSP. It's like, Marcus, PSP, that kind of thing. And it's funny because the first thing I thought was, well, as soon as 3DS comes out, PSP could just pack their bags and they're done. I don't even know anyone that has PSP. Well, I guess I can't say that because that's not true. So my girlfriend has PSP, but she doesn't really play it much, and that's the point. Nintendo has just dominated the handheld market for forever, but I don't know. PSP had potential, I thought, but I don't think it's going to make it after 3DS comes out. And talk about the Sony conference, I was really impressed by their 3D games. They showed Killzone 3, you put on the 3D glasses and it was really immersive, like amazing, like how good it looked. So I'm impressed by Sony's 3D, and hopefully their 3D televisions are just as good, because if they look like that, that's going to be a must-buy. I know Nintendo, now the 3DS can do 3D without glasses, but I don't know if that technology can be transferred to television. I'm sure they could figure that out one day, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime in the near future. And Sony kind of focused on another game called Sorcery, and that looked like kind of a Nintendo platformer using spells that kind of reminded me of Eternal Darkness from GameCube, but it didn't have that kind of style. It was more kid-friendly. And then the PlayStation Move, which is the big thing about Sony, and it's just, again, people, this is when I kind of go back to my childhood, being a fanboy and saying, Nintendo's better. I mean, if you can't realize that Sony's copying Nintendo with the Move, and that Xbox 360 is trying to one-up Nintendo with the Kinect, I mean, you guys are just denying yourselves here. Because the Kinect, which is pretty much an iToy, and when I say iToy, it's the PlayStation iToy, that technology's been out forever. And, Kinect didn't even seem like it worked. I was watching people play it. The games that they were showing looked like, Nintendo Wii games, for family. And I think that's what they were trying to go for. They're trying to bring a family market to Sony and Xbox, because of course, I'm going to guess the main market that has been driving Nintendo sales are families. Not just kids are playing it, but parents and grandparents, and it's very accessible. So Sony and Xbox are trying to be as accessible. So the thing about the PlayStation Move is, for one, the price is ridiculous. If I remember correctly, it's almost $100 for the controllers. Seriously, I think it was like $39.99 or something. And then for the nunchuck part, it's another $20. And then for the Move, the whole package, it's just crazy. Everyone was like shocked about the price, like, oh, $80 or I don't know. But again, copy Nintendo, don't deny it. Okay, Nintendo it's always been like that, and it's gonna not turn into like a Nintendo fanboy rant, because that's a whole different topic. Other games that I played, you saw those videos, and I told you what I thought about them. I met some cool people at E3. I met Angry Video Game Nerd, finally. After 4 years watching him, met him in person. He's a very humble guy. He looked like he was very tired, so maybe it was the jet lag or something, but he looked pretty tired, and I got a picture with him, so I'm going to put a link in the description if you want to add me on Facebook. I have a whole bunch of pictures from E3 on all 3 different days, all organized for you guys to check out. I took pictures with AVGN. I met Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario. I met him on the 3rd day. He was, of course, at the Nintendo area by Zelda. I met Spoony1, I met Juwario, and I met Angry Joe. And those 3 guys, of course, they're with that guy with the glasses.com, and I met those guys actually at Subway after E3 on day 2. They're just hanging out, having dinner, and I just went up and said hi to them, introduced myself, shook their hands, and tell them I enjoyed their work. And no, I didn't get a picture with them. I just wanted to say hi, and it was just good meeting them. I just wanted the memory of, wow, I just met these cool guys that, I watch online. So it was cool meeting them. And I met Samuel the Geek, and he's on YouTube too. He's the only guy that really recognized me. I think that was awesome that somebody actually recognized me. But I know Samuel the Geek is, he watches my videos, or he subscribed to me, I'm not sure. But I know he was a main comment. He commented my videos all the time when I first started. So it was really awesome to have an old viewer, because I don't see him commenting much often anymore. But it was good seeing that someone recognized me, and I was just kind of a humbling experience. Like, oh wow, like just making little videos on the internet, But the E3 experience overall was amazing. I wish I got to play more games. I did play enough the games I was interested in. I also played WWE Raw vs. SmackDown 2011, and I think it seems like every year the graphics are getting worse. They look more like robots every time. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I mean, I was so focused on other stuff. Sonic. Sega is kind of like focusing on Sonic again, and I just recently bought the Sonic Mega Collection because I have never played through a Sonic game in my life. Just yesterday, I beat the first Sonic the Hedgehog for the first time ever, and it was a pretty challenging game because I never played it before. Because with all the stuff with Sonic and Nintendo getting together, again, I never played Sonic back then because I was that kind of fanboy where I didn't play. Really, ignored Sega, so I just figured, I'm over that kind of stuff, in a way, But the whole E3 experience was amazing. I wish it could have lasted longer. Some of the days I didn't get there on early because I was either too tired or I don't remember, but or I had other things to do and that kind of thing. So the whole experience was very cool.